Good afternoon. We're excited about an opportunity to come back home, play at High Point Solution Stadium against University of Kansas, in front of what we hope would be a packed and raucous homecoming crowd. Also, it's going to be an annual event that Coach Flood has been a part of, the Coach for a Cure for Muscular Dystrophy. We have two young men who routinely come by practice with us, Danny Garofalo and Marty DeRiggi, I don't want to say his name wrong, who've been on our sideline on many an occasion and have come to our practice many times. And not just us here at Rutgers, but coaches around the country be wearing a patch on their shirt on game day, signifying that if you have an interest in donating $5, you can text the word CURE to 90999, and then that'll make a $5 donation. But we've done it annually since I've been here. It's a great thing, and a cure for these young men that have been stricken with this disease will be wonderful.
Norries, how you doing? Keith Sarge at NJ.com. Can you give us an idea of when you plan on choosing a quarterback this week?
I believe Coach Flood put out a depth chart this morning, and as of right now, that's how everything stands.
Hey, Norries, Dan Duggan from NJ.com. Just as far as the quarterback, so will the reps, do you expect to be the same in practice as it has been then?
I would intend that the reps will be the same as they have been in practice, yes.
Coach, obviously after the Penn State performance, how would you assess the running backs going into this week?
Make sure I understand your question. How do I assess their play? Well, I'm not happy with the production that we had on Saturday, and I don't think that was in whole on how they played. There's a lot more to just being the running back. We have to have some space to run. The offensive line has to play better. We have to be better in the pass game to back some people out of the box. I'm not down on any of the young men in my room, however.
Ryan from the Asbury Park Press, just expanding on the quarterbacks. What do you feel like Chris is doing well right now?
Chris is doing a good job getting us in the correct alerts when he's asked to. Being the quarterback, a good run game helps the quarterback. Good pass protection helps the quarterback be an accurate passer when he doesn't get flushed. So he's got a lot of things around him that need to improve that will also help to improve his play. So we're confident in the depth that Coach Flood has put out, and that's where we're going with the quarterback right now.
Norries, how different is your day, like this Monday compared to last Monday, just with obviously instead of just worrying about the running backs, being able to be versed on what's going on to speak with us about it? How different is it and how much more time consuming is it?
This part's different. But having to be well versed in what's going on with everything is a little bit different for me. It's taken a couple, 3 extra hours today out of what I would usually be doing, having to meet with the people who have the information so I can be able to convey it in the right way if I'm asked about it.
From Rivals.com. What do you see out of this Kansas team that might present challenges for you guys?
Well, the quarterback and the running back on design runs both average over 5 yards a carry. They have some athletic guys up front on the defensive line, and they play multiple fronts. They're a run-first team. We didn't do a good job stopping the run last week. That's not a secret. I'm not trying to disparage our guys, but we've got to get better stopping the run, and we have to be able to block some athletic people up front on our offensive line.
Coach, we asked you this post-game too, but if you could elaborate a little bit, how much on game day do you or Ben or Joe have the flexibility to change, based on what's happened in the game, change what Kyle had asked for, be it depth or rotations, quarterback, running backs, anything, the power to change what Kyle said during the week on game day?
Well, we met on that last week, and I'm sure we'll meet on it again this week. And we set parameters on what we're going to do. If a player gets injured, you obviously have to change it. If you feel like a player is playing bad, the position coach will speak with the coordinator about it, and we'll make the change if we feel like the change is necessary.
Coach, what is it like just to have Coach Flood still out there at practice, while he's serving the suspension?
It's practice as usual for us. He's out there and he's doing the things he does. He makes corrections and he congratulates when it's done right, and he gives his suggestions and he asks questions. So practice, the way we practice and how we've practiced and how it's gone has not changed at all.
And just to follow up, Darius Hamilton, do you expect him to be full go this Saturday?
I think Coach put out an injury report already this week, and if there's any update to that, it'll come out at the end of the week.
Chris obviously was under a lot of pressure on Saturday night. Just how concerned are you with the offensive line, and what do they need to do better?
Say it again for me.
Just are you concerned with the offensive line, the amount of pressure Penn State was able to generate?
Well, he had 5 sacks, and 5 sacks is going to, make any quarterback, I think, start to look at the rush more than he should have to. So we have to, get an opportunity to get our guys in the best positions to protect Chris and stay in the best protections that will give him time to see the ball down the field.
Coach Garrett Stepien, Daily Targum. 2 weeks ago against Washington State, you guys let up 11 penalties. You cut that down Saturday.
So that we let up 11 penalties, you said. Okay,
yes.
Go ahead.
And you cut that down Saturday. How important was that, and how important is it going forward into Kansas?
We cut it down Saturday, and the 6 we have was 6 too many. We'd like to play a clean game with no penalties. Penalties get us off schedule. It's hard enough to get 10 yards, and when you go 1st and 15, you don't want to be 1st and 15. So we're harping on it. Coach McDaniel spoke with the offense about it this morning. We're going to work to get the penalties down to 0. We think that's very important to us.
Coach, Sam Hellman from Scout. How much have you seen Josh Hicks develop and grow up and change since he was a guy that you coached at high school camps to where he is now?
He's grown up a bunch. Like a lot of kids from high school who aren't asked to do a bunch at running back other than run the football, he understands protections, and he comes in and he meets on his own and watches film on his own, and he wants to know, he wants to be a complete player. He understands that this isn't high school where you can just circle the defense and outrun everyone. You've got to try to set up some blocks, and you've got to stay within the system or the designation of the run to be successful. And sometimes he is able to circle a defense, and sometimes he has a great run like he had Saturday night when it looked like he was going to get caught in the end zone. So he's done a good job trying to make himself a complete player.
Coach, what is the on-field impact of Leonte's absence? Because obviously he's the guy who stretches the field for you guys. Seemed like Penn State was maybe stacking the box a little bit. Do you expect opponents to do that until another receiver can fill those shoes?
Well, I think that the receivers on the field are going to have to run the plays that we call, and we have other receivers that can stretch the field. And if people want to stack the box against us, we're going to have to take advantage of them in the pass game. We're confident in the receivers that we have, Andre Patton. We're confident in Carlton Agadosi. We're confident in, I can't think of his name now, number 1. Janarian. That's his name, Janarian Grant. So we're confident in John Simmons, and we're really happy to have John back and happy to see him catch some balls last night. And our tight end's been doing a good job catching the ball. So any deficiency that we may have in the pass game, other people are ready to step up and take the slack out.
Obviously, they kind of took Janarian out of the kicking game, just fair catches and touchbacks. What can you do to get him more involved, or do you just tip your hat to them?
Well, they did a good job kicking the ball where they kicked it. They were advantageous. We have to do a better job if we have a punt return on, of holding the people up and giving him an opportunity to get started. He caught a couple, but he didn't feel like he was going to have an opportunity to get started. So they did a good job placing the ball on a couple of kickoffs. And if you have a guy that can kick the ball deep in the end zone to keep the return team from coming out, hats off to you.
This has nothing to do with the game, obviously, but I think you were the first African-American head coach in the Ivy League, and even though Kyle's still the head coach, the first African-American to act as a game day coach here, the significance of that and what it means to you.
Well, I'll tell you the same thing I said when it happened at Columbia. That's probably going to be something from my children's children. I tell the players a lot, don't be scared to be first. I don't like the circumstances that it's occurred upon, but sometimes, like I said the other night, you have to do things because that's what the situation calls for. I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to stand in for Coach Flood, who I have a ton of respect for, and I'm very happy to work for. And I'm very happy to be here at Rutgers. Rutgers gave me an opportunity. 3 people gave me an opportunity when I got fired at Columbia. Tom Coughlin, Joe Philbin, Kyle Flood. So, and I interviewed for Tom Coughlin. I told him that Kyle Flood offered me a job, and Tom Coughlin said, Norries, you better take that job. And I'm happy he told me that.
Or sort of a follow-up to that, has anyone given you any advice as far as this whole experience, and if so, what has it been?
A few people have talked to me. Advice, not really. No one's given me any advice. You know, just be yourself and do your job. Thank you, gentlemen and lady.